Russian dictator Vladimir Putin on May 12th proposed firing Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu and nominated Andrei Belousov to replace him, according to the Telegram channel of the Federation Council, the Russian parliament's upper house. Putin appointed Shoigu as the secretary of Russia's Security Council. Putin's spokesman Dmitry Peskov said. Shoigu is replacing Nikolai Patrushev, who has been the council's secretary since 2008. Shoigu has faced criticism from Russia's pro-war hawks for mishandling the war effort in Ukraine. However, it is not clear if his dismissal is a demotion, since the position of the Security Council's secretary is considered to be among the most powerful in the country. Meanwhile, Belousov is known as a supporter of boosting military spending and mobilizing Russia's economy for the war effort. Peskov said that Belousov's task is to integrate the military-industrial complex into the country's economy. Peskov also said that Putin had decided to appoint a civilian as defense minister, since the ministry should be open to innovation and progressive ideas. Belousov was Russia's economy minister in 2012-2013, an aide to Putin in 2013-2020, and first deputy prime minister in 2020-2024. A constant power struggle. The dismissals of Shoigu and Patrushev once again demonstrate that Russia is more unstable than it is willing to reveal. It is not surprising that Shoigu is being dismissed from the role of Minister of Defense, especially after his close ally Timur Ivanov was arrested a few weeks ago. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been a colossal failure, and Shoigu is recognized as a corrupt yes-man with more military medals than days served in the armed forces. Shoigu will replace Patrushev, who is also being dismissed from his position. It is currently unclear what his next role will be. This is just one of numerous examples that highlight Russia's instability. Russia's military leadership has undergone multiple changes during its unsuccessful invasion of Ukraine. Less than a year ago, Prigozhin's attempted coup served as another compelling example of Russia's unstable nature. Russia experiences constant power struggles, and those with insight recognize the extent of corruption and failure within Putin's leadership. He invests significant efforts in maintaining his power, and his policies are centered around this goal. Anyway, the special military operation is going according to plans. These are the kind of leaflets that are given to moronic soldiers of the Russian army to motivate them not to retreat. Move forward or you'll go to jail for 10 years. It's better to kill yourself than surrender to the enemy. And only thanks to God's chosen Vladimir Putin can you win. Kneel before him and kiss his feet. This is no longer an army, this is a cult, the likes of which we have not seen for a long time. This is Aum Shinrikyo multiplied by 1,000. Who would have thought that such a medieval approach would be possible in our era? Serviceman, .394, Motor Rifle Regiment of the Russian Federation. Due to Victory Day, we'd like to thank you for your bravery, courage, and love of the motherland. However difficult it is on the front, remember, your relatives and family are thinking about you every day, waiting for you. Surrendering to the enemy is treason to the motherland, treason to the oath. There is nothing more shameful than surrendering to the enemy and going over to his side. Remember that the Federation Council approved a law amending the Russian Criminal Code to allow for 10-year imprisonment for military personnel who voluntarily surrendered. Today, the threat of Nazism in Ukraine is thriving with the support of Western countries. The enemy advances without sparing its personnel. Only under the command of our President Vladimir Putin can we stop the Nazis, no matter what. And each of us must remember, together with Putin, we are strength. Warrior, remember the enemy is strong and cunning. Know that we will definitely defeat this Nazi nation. With God blessing. Yesterday there was a big Russian attack attempt on the Ukrainian positions near Torske, Kremlin front. Deep state regarding the Russian attack. Fighters of the 63rd Brigade shared footage of repelling the Russian assault east of Torske. After a certain pause, Russians once again gathered forces for an assault, which is commonplace in that area. Russians made several attempts to break through during the day, using a total of 10 AFVs with infantry. The morning assault began with 3 BMP and 2 tanks, but the defense forces of Ukraine effectively met the enemy with fire and broke all plans of attack. Interestingly, Russians equipped all the AFVs with EW systems and drone jammers, but our fighters arranged a surprise where American democracy came to meet the bastards. It is worth noting the work of the gunners who worked diligently, burning the IFVs with the infantry. Where there is Ukrainian precision artillery, there is carnage among Russian troops. The 63rd Brigade destroyed 5 Russian tanks and IFVs. The government of Estonia is seriously discussing the possibility of sending troops into western Ukraine to take over non-direct combat. Rear roles from Ukrainian forces in order to free them up to fight on the front. Tallinn's national security advisor to the president told Breaking Defense. Mattis Roll said the executive branch is currently undertaking an analysis of the potential move, and though he said Estonia would prefer to make any such move as part of a full NATO mission, to show broader combined strength and determination. He didn't rule out Estonia acting in a smaller coalition. Discussions are ongoing, he said on May 10th at the presidential palace here. We should be looking at all the possibilities. We shouldn't have our minds restricted as to what we can do. He also emphasized that it's not unthinkable that NATO nations opposed to such a move would change their minds as time goes on. Roll's boss, Estonian President Alar Karis, holds a position with many ceremonial duties relative to the nation's Prime Minister, Kaja Kallas, but he is ultimately Estonia's commander-in-chief and is a key figure in foreign policy. Roll's comments came after the head of Estonia's defense forces, General Martin Herem, told Breaking Defense earlier last week. There had been discussions in the military months ago about sending troops to western Ukraine to take on jobs like medical services, logistics, or air defense for some western cities, but the air had gone out of those talks after the idea became a public lightning rod. Herem was likely referring to the outcry that followed French President Emmanuel Macron's declaration that Western nations must be open to discussing sending their troops in to aid Ukraine. Kallas, the Estonian PM in March, appeared to defend Macron's statement, noting that he wasn't talking specifically about sending ground troops into combat. In the exact same way, I can assure you that our soldiers will not go there to fight, she said.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.